Feeling a little bit more like summertime over the next few days with storm chances increasing, but not for everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Justus, mapping out the areas of highest risk. In fact, new today, parts of the Carolinas upgraded to a risk for hail and strong winds as we go throughout the day tomorrow. It's not a high risk, but it's certainly something we need to keep an eye on, as a few stronger storms could form as we go throughout the day. And as we move throughout the next several days, in fact, there will be those chances for storms. Specifically looking at the hail and the wind threat tomorrow, looks like the eastern half of the area toward the Charlotte area and most of North Carolina would have that chance for some stronger storms as a front lies right over the area. Brand new computer models time that out for us as we go into the overnight hours and through the day on Tuesday. As you're watching this right now, we're going to run into some rain in the mountains early on in the morning, but as the day goes on, some of that rain is going to scatter into the upstate. Could be 11 o'clock, could be noon, 1 o'clock there'll be some scattered downpours, but it's the afternoon and the evening that presents the better chance for some stronger storms and more heavy downpours, if you will. And some of those could be some hailmakers and maybe even some strong thunderstorms with gusty winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. That would be possible 6, 7, 8 o'clock, maybe through 9 o'clock in some areas as the storm activity would push off toward the east. Then we'd see it die down. But guess what? Come Wednesday, we do the exact same thing. Here's 8 a.m. in the morning. As the day gets going, most of the activity is pretty subdued, but by the afternoon and evening, just like the summertime, first the mountains kick off with some thunderstorms, then the upstate would get a chance for some storms as the day goes on. And some of them could be strong to severe on Wednesday as well. And I'm seeing the possibility that some of that lingers into the later evening hours of Wednesday with some thunder, some lightning, some heavy rain, and maybe even some severe weather with some gusty winds. Let's look in closer to the Western Carolinas here with a brand new high-resolution computer model. 8 a.m. tomorrow, there's some rain over the mountains. That tries to spread east, especially the northern half of the upstate would have a better chance of that. Most of the mountains waking up to some rain. That means temperatures are going to be a good bit cooler in the mountains compared to the upstate first thing tomorrow, because it doesn't stand a chance at warming up that much. As the day goes on, like I mentioned, noon and beyond, that's when some of these pop-up thunderstorms are going to form here. Something could be locally heavy with some lightning, heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds, and even some hail. And some of this could linger into 10, 11 o'clock, but generally speaking, most of this activity would simmer down maybe as late as midnight. But then tomorrow night, it's that kind of muggy environment with the front being over us. I can't rule out some overnight rain or rumbles of thunder. This would be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And then Wednesday, we do it all over again. We may start off with some clouds, but by the afternoon and evening, the atmosphere recovers and we get another chance for some feisty storms. This would be 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 o'clock. Some additional thunderstorms would form across the area. And there is the potential that out of some of this, we do get some strong storms. I know many of you, lightning is kind of your determination whether it's severe weather or not. Well, it certainly rattles your cage a little bit, right? Especially if you have kiddos or dogs that just don't like the lightning. Well, it does look like by 2, 3, 4 o'clock, there could be some rumbles of thunder tomorrow. And how about overnight rain? Here's 1 a.m. I've got the potential that tomorrow night into Wednesday morning could be one of those nights we hear a few distant rumbles, maybe a couple of claps of thunder, maybe a stormy night across parts of the upstate looking likely here on this model with some lightning showing up here into 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. And then Wednesday, we do it all over again. Additional thunderstorms would form, and of which could produce some lightning. Now, how about severe weather threats? You need fuel for that. And right now, let me flip it over to a new model. Here we go. Looks like by the afternoon tomorrow, noon and beyond, we have 800 to 1,000 joules of CAPE. That's enough to get a few feisty thunderstorms. And then as we go deeper into Wednesday, in the morning not so much, but the afternoon and evening, I'm seeing 1,600 to 2,000 CAPE. That would be good for a few scattered thunderstorms. It could be strong to severe. Gusty winds and hail would be the primary threat out of some of this activity. How about the long-term pattern? Well, right now we have a little dip in the jet stream, but moving forward here, it looks like we're going to stay quite warm. This big ridge of high pressure is going to be in. A couple of dips bring us some changes here and there, but overall the pattern here across the south is going to be warm and locked in with that. And the new outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, or I should say NOAA, shows above normal temperatures favored over the next 2 weeks. This outlook actually goes all the way out to those first few days of May and above normal precipitation. Now, one thing to note, when I see a sign like this, above normal precipitation in severe weather season, that also coincides with above normal storm chances. Okay, so this area could break out into some severe storms in that last few days of April, first few days of May timeframe. How about tropical season? Can you believe we're getting close to that? We're just about a month away from hurricane season beginning. June 1st is when the Atlantic Basin begins to get a lot more active, and we can get a rogue early storm. We did last year. We have in previous years. In fact, other than last year, the last 4 or 5 years, we've had prior storms in May form, some of them quite strong. So going into hurricane season, I mean, we all have fatigue from Helene, right? I mean, we just don't want to see any kind of hurricane develop or form. Well, this year, the big pattern recognition that I'm seeing a month and a half, 2 months out is La Nada. That means there's nothing. There's no El Nino factor. Now, with hurricane season, you look for anything that can help or hurt hurricanes. In this case, there's nothing to hurt the hurricanes. La Nina would be a pattern that would be a subdued jet stream. El Nino means there's a pretty active southern jet that can at times help us out and tear up hurricanes before they even get going. Right now there's a neutral phase setting up. So it's not El Nino, it's not La Nina. So it really doesn't have anything to hurt the hurricanes. So that means anything that forms wouldn't have anything to inhibit it from the jet stream's perspective. So something to keep in mind as we get closer is I've got my eyes peeled on hurricane season, as well as we're kind of in that weird ball game where the time frame can be severe weather based or it can be hurricane based, and both are possible. So hey, if you're new to this channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe, like this video, and in the comment section let me know where you're watching from. I do hope and pray that we don't get severe weather this week, but all signs are pointing to at least it being a rainy, kind of stormy pattern. We need it though. There's been several wildfires that have broken out across western North Carolina, and the pollen is just through the roof right now, so anything will help as we move forward. I'll keep you posted.